Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So, this is not a surprise at all, but it has to be exposed. Shawn Porter, he came out a couple days ago and he gave his support to Ryan Garcia's anti-black movement. Every black person involved in the sport of boxing that joins this movement, they have to be exposed. And the way Shawn Porter is talking, he's going to get a high position in their party. That's the new ABM party. Shawn Porter, once again, he came out, he spoke on this, and he reacted and responded the exact way I knew he would. I'm going to unpack that, but let me go ahead and play a clip of what he said. Just keep in mind, this is his first reaction to someone asking him about Ryan's racial rant.
It didn't offend me. It made me feel very sad for him to hear him speaking the way that he was speaking. And even hear him saying he wasn't going to regret it. And then, again, to see him soliciting an apology. The apology was real. Him saying that he wasn't going to regret it was just him pushing on where he was already at. Anything that he commits to, he doesn't know how to uncommit to it. He doesn't know how to retract it. He doesn't know how to just stop it. You know what I mean? He's not a bad guy. He's not a bad kid. He's just made some bad mistakes, some immature decisions, and, he's just not reaping. Well, he's, unfortunately reaping, the results of, where they're at.
The first thing Shawn Porter said was, he didn't offend me. That was the very first thing he said in response to Ryan's rant. And then Shawn Porter, he acknowledges that Ryan Garcia, the very next day, he said, I ain't apologizing for nothing. And then the same day, Ryan Garcia, he sends out a fake apology where he's still dissing the black race indirectly. And you guys heard Porter's exact words. He said, Ryan, he said he wasn't going to regret it. And then he apologized later on. And then Shawn Porter, he says the apology was real. Now, everything he said about black people, according to Porter, that wasn't real. But the apology after he said, I ain't apologizing for nothing, that apology was real. Now, Porter, he followed all that up by saying he's not a bad person. He's not a bad person. He just wants to join the KKK and kill George Floyd again. But that doesn't make him a bad person. What's wrong with promoting the anti-black movement on one of the largest platforms on the internet? Ryan Garcia is not a bad person at all. This is what Shawn Porter told the boxing world. And the saddest thing about what Shawn Porter said is the fact that he has kids and he's endorsing the ABM. Shawn is saying he doesn't care how his kids get treated, by the neighbors, by kids at school, by grown men. With that being said, let me go ahead and unpack all of this. And I'm going to let you guys know how I knew Porter was going to react this way. Ever since Shawn Porter started his podcast, every once in a while, people would send me clips of something that he said on the show. Maybe he was doing an interview or whatever the case may be. And the little clips that I heard, I can tell right away, Shawn Porter is basing 99% of what he's saying on what he hears and what he sees the fans on the internet say. And the majority of those fans on Twitter, Instagram are race fans. And they love that platform because the majority of them have fake accounts and they get to remain anonymous. So they can say the most racist, the most biased stuff that they want to say without any accountability. But it's not just the fans on the internet. It's the majority of non-black fans, which are the majority of boxing fans that happen to be race fans. And all of this can be proven just by us watching the fights. Have you guys ever noticed? America is the only country in boxing where the American gets booed in his own country by American fans because 9 times out of 10, the American is black. And the American fans, they will root for the foreigner because he has the complexion for the protection. We see it every single time. Devin Haney, the American versus the Ukrainian Lomachenko. Andre Ward, the American versus the Russian Sergey Kovalev. Floyd Mayweather, the American versus the Filipino Pacquiao against Canelo. And it goes on and on and on. And when Gervonta Tank Davis fights against Vasyl Lomachenko, and when Terrence Crawford fights against Madrimov, all of those non-black fans are going to be rooting for the foreigner. When Tommy the Hitman Hearns fought against Roberto Duran, they fought in Las Vegas. This fight is on YouTube. You guys can watch it. They were all showering Tommy Hearns with boos while cheering for Duran as if he was the American. And just remember, Roberto Duran, he had the personality of a villain. And he wasn't just playing the role, he was a villain. With all the stuff he said about Sugar Ray Leonard and his wife, all the stuff he did, he was the villain. And those fans, they didn't care. They were still rooting for him because they were never boxing fans, they were race fans. Now, by way of contrast, you will never see UK fans booing the UK fighter, no matter who he's fighting. I remember when Kell Brook fought against Gennady Golovkin. Golovkin was the big star, and those UK fans, they booed Golovkin. That was the first time I seen Golovkin get booed, because I was used to him fighting over here in America against American fighters, and once again, them booing the American fighter to cheer for the foreigner. It didn't happen in the UK, and it would not happen in any other country. Like I said, you have a Mexican fighter fighting in Mexico, they're gonna root for the Mexican. You have a fight in the Philippines, they're gonna root for the Filipino all the time. And guess what? All of these race fans that are booing the Americans are the same ones on the internet pushing the popular anti-black narrative. And Shawn Porter, he follows whichever direction these race fans go. If they're praising the hell out of Canelo and saying he's the greatest fighter of all time, Shawn Porter, he will go on his show and he'll almost repeat what they say verbatim. If these race fans start trashing the American Devin Haney, Shawn Porter, he will come out and he will use every single talking point that those race fans are using about Haney. Matter of fact, I remember when they had Shawn Porter call the Haney versus Prograis fight, and I said, oh man, why are they letting Porter call this fight? That is exactly what I said when I heard his voice. And Shawn Porter, he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. Sergio Mora, who he's biased by the way himself, but he is a good commentator. He's very analytical. He breaks down what we're watching at the time. And during this fight with Haney versus Regis Prograis, which was one of Devin Haney's best performances, Sergio Mora, he's praising him throughout the night, him and the rest of the commentators. And for some reason, Shawn Porter, every single time Sergio Mora says something positive about Devin Haney, Shawn Porter, he would come back immediately and try to say something negative. And there were times during the fight where Sergio Mora, he had to check Shawn Porter professionally because Shawn, he kept repeating these racist talking points that we see on the internet that they say about Devin Haney. Shawn Porter did a terrible job, man. He did a terrible job. And I pray to God that they don't have him call no more fights. But here's my point. Any black person like Shawn Porter that's going to cater to the race fans' narrative, you already know that when you ask him about somebody that wants to join the KKK and kill George Floyd again and says that he's anti-black, black like Shawn Porter, you can expect him to give the kind of answer that he gave. Because people like Shawn Porter, he's afraid to offend the racists. For Shawn Porter to say, oh, he's not a bad person and I wasn't offended at all, I can guarantee you Shawn Porter has a lot of racist friends that push that racist narrative, but they say I'm not racist because, look, I got a black friend. Shawn Porter, I hang out with him. And it's not just Shawn Porter. I notice a lot of these black boxers, they surround themselves with race fans that don't even really follow the sport that much, or they're just very biased because they're race fans. I remember Mike Tyson, one of his episodes, he had some white guy he was doing a show with. And this guy starts saying that, Lomachenko is possibly the greatest fighter of all time. And Mike Tyson is sitting over there like, yeah. Like he agrees with him. Remember, Mike Tyson is the same person that got mad when Floyd Mayweather said he was greater than Ali. But this guy says Lomachenko is possibly the greatest fighter of all time. And Mike Tyson damn near agreed with him. These are the type of people that they hang out with. This guy wasn't just on the show. He was someone who knew Mike Tyson personally. Speaking of Mike Tyson, he had Ryan Garcia on his show. And I can tell you right now, you can expect him to give the same type of response and answer that Shawn Porter gave when he was asked about Ryan Garcia. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, Visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Decay Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to lodecay.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.